What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Try Time Podcast. I'm Matt.
And I'm Callum.
And this is episode 88, the We Are Well and Truly in the Off-Season Shite episode. Get ready for these, guys. It's going to be a good few months.
Yeah, it is firmly in the off-season now. I mean, we've had the last of the Rugby League fixtures that we're going to have until, I assume, late December at least.
We've got the 7-4-5 if we're counting that as half Rugby League.
Yeah, I mean, it's half Rugby League, isn't it, I guess? But
it's not proper league, but we'll take it at this point.
We'll probably cover
really bad, isn't it? We're looking forward to teaming up with Uni, and that's how dark it's gotten already.
It's pretty tragic, to be fair. But yeah, we had the Pacific Championships conclude at the weekend, and now we are officially in the off-season, which,
I don't like it.
Yeah, it's an hard one for content. Although with the ever amateur world of Rugby League, we don't even know what's going to happen. Promotion, relegation for next year, we don't know what's going to happen with anything. So there's always news coming out about dates for draws. It's just so amateur. Like
in this week's shit-filled cornucopia that is Rugby League.
Yeah, it's just like, for example, like football. You'll know. I could probably find out when FA Cup first round draw is going to be in 5 years' time. Like, I probably could. Like, do you know what I mean? But it's still all up.
I'm calling you out live on pod. Go on.
No, I'm not going to do it. But
right.
But
this ironically being the same day that the RFL sent the emails round to the list of when the first Challenge Cup draw is for the next season.
But it's like stuff like that, like which is fine. Like, it's good that they're announcing that, or I guess whatever. But the promotion, relegation, the fact they're now going to have a meeting about that, like, just fucking mate. I don't know. It's all.
You can't do anything without a committee meeting. Come on.
Yeah, but then that spoiled the potential.
We all know why.
Because of, I guess, the money. No,
we know why they're doing it. Because now that Nigel Woods spent way more than he can afford in Championship in trying to bankroll Bradford, that they've actually got a chance of winning, he wants to move goalposts for RFL to bail him out for a 15th time.
I mean, that just isn't true, is it?
Prove me wrong.
Well, it's not. I doubt Nigel Woods got anything to do with.
All I can say is we now officially support Toulouse this season on the pod.
No, well, we fucking don't, man.
Well, we don't both after.
I tell you what, little early season, like, York are going to be good, like, York's recruitment's really good.
Well, they beat you every year anyway, so I'm used to it being good.
They're going for it in a similar way that Bradford are going for it with a signing. Some teams, like, for some reason, within my algorithm on Twitter, I get every single witness tweet comes up. And
look, I get OKR on TikTok these days. We have made our TikTok. We haven't even made our TikTok debut yet, and we're being beaten by Hull KR.
Yeah, well, that's what grade A will do for you.
What are we then? D.
Yeah, we're below grades.
We in the Batley ungradable tier.
But we witness, like, I'm seeing a lot of their signings, and the signing, players who have been released, depth pattern, but players who've been released from the academies and stuff, which it's exciting and it could come really good, but they're not signing like that. The signing, I'm pretty sure they signed our favourite Swinton player, Hall from Swinton, Baldy, bald loose forward from Swinton.
Yes. Well, is he a loose forward? Because he was playing at...
He played everywhere but there, I think.
7, 9, 8, 10... I was surprised they showed him at fullback for a few minutes.
I'm fairly certain they had. I mean, Lewis Hall arrives from Swinton. So they're signing players like that are going to be good quality Championship players, but they're not. York have just brought in McShane since we last recorded the pod.
What, Paul?
Yeah.
That's a big one. I think a lot of people expect him to retire.
Well, he said he retired from full-time, didn't he? And
now it's a classic line they used for Donaldson then.
Yeah, left the door open. And I feel like we all said York, didn't we? Because we're looking at the teams. He were never going to go to lose. And we're technically full-time anyway. And he won't. Bradford don't need hookers. and it were always going to be York. We pretty much said that. Like it makes.
Well, I think we said York or Fev if he didn't want to move, didn't we?
Yeah.
But then Fev have got Jones, so they don't need him to play 9.
No, exactly. But I do think York will be good next year. I think the Championship will be really good up at the top end. I think, but I think there will start to be a divide between maybe the top 4 and the rest potentially.
Well, there's only one way to find out, and I know they're going to wait like 5 months for it.
Yeah, although now this season we are starting in the first week of February rather than like the 3rd week in March or something stupid like it was last year.
Yeah, that is a bonus because let's admit it, last year was ridiculous. Like we had around about 15, 19, 85 cup games or whatever they're called.
I didn't mind it, but Bradford got to a decent stage of like the 1895 and stuff. So we had a game every week and it was good. My worry now is there's 2 less league games. We somehow managed to fit the league games in perfectly on the weekends.
You did finish late though, like to have the Championship Grand Final 2 weeks after the Super League was very odd. And I'm wondering if that's what's been brought back into line.
I mean, it will.
And that wouldn't explain why that covers the 2 missing league games. Why are we starting early? But then to be fair, have we got less league games? Because I know each club has, but has it actually? Because we've got bye weeks now. Because we've got an odd numbered team league.
Yeah, so cancel that out, and I guess an extra week early helps for lining up with Super League better. And no doubt, I'm assuming 1895 games are going to be weaved in there. And
yeah, because you'll have lost 1 week's worth of games effectively for the teams. That'll be then twice. So you've got your 2 weeks back there, and then obviously throw your buys in. That should bring it back in.
Yeah. And I mean, we're not far off fixtures being announced anyway. That's back end of November, so we'll know more.
Hey, we might get some content.
Yeah. It'd just be nice to know the structure when the 1895, what even going to happen. I wouldn't be surprised if it's scrapped at this point.
I think now they've committed to knockouts. They've got to do it as a knockout this year.
Yeah.
Now, quite when you fit it, I don't know. Because they're banking again on a Championship team not going far in the Challenge Cup that they can whack the rounds in then.
Yeah.
Which, what happens if you get a draw and Halifax goes to the semis or put any other Championship team in that place? I don't know how that's going to work. I kind of hope it happens just to piss the RFL off without.
I hope, maybe we've got the Bradford double bubble at Wembley. And women make shock run to Women's Challenge Cup final as well. And I
hate to say it, but the women's team, not even in the Super League, where teams regularly get nearly 100 put on them by the big 3, as it's going to be next year.
Yeah, the men's team is probably more likely to.
That's a point, actually, which we've not discussed in this, that's happened this week. Leeds have basically given up on the women's team, haven't they? And shipped all the 3 best players off to St. Helens.
Yeah, do you reckon that's like a realignment of funds, or saving some money within the club by doing that?
Yes, personally. I think they've invested in the women's team to try and get like one of the best there. They've obviously put a lot of work in putting them on as like curtain raisers before the men's game and hosting a lot of like the big women's semi-finals and stuff. And it just screams to me of they're losing money on them.
Yeah, potentially. And they're not winning either. Like, they're not winning the...
They're not, but I suppose they've been getting to Wembley and stuff, so it's not like that they've been completely...
Oh, no, yeah.
Not like, say, Warrington or like Barrow or something doing that, and actually they play one of the others and shipping nearly 80-odd points. They're in the conversation, so I don't think it's necessarily a performance-based thing. I think it's a demand thing, frankly.
Yeah.
And I think this is probably going into a more wider question and one that's skirting around some dangerous territory here. Is the interest in women's sports in general in this kind of whole rugby football thing, the bubble bursting?
Do you think?
I feel like you're seeing a lot more, like even in the football space, of people, coming out about, the differences in pay discrepancy and all this. I mean, it's like, let's just be fundamental here. the women's football game at WSL level is being bankrolled by the Premier League clubs.
Yeah.
Arsenal, Liverpool, etc., are not making huge amounts of money, if any, on women's game hosting them in their major stadiums. You've also got the whole debacle last week where the Women's Champions League game against Bayern got booted out because there was a Carabao Cup fixture on the same day, which is the Mickey Mouse Cup of football, the one that none of the top teams supposedly cared about until they get to like the final of it. And that's just usurped Women's Champions League.
No, it is true.
I hate to say it kind of feels a bit more like we've had years of it almost being forced a bit too down the throats, and now there's almost a rebellion.
Potential. I mean, we'll have to see.
Which is a shame because they do deserve a platform to be on. And I think actually in rugby a lot better than other sports. I don't think we've necessarily overly forced it.
No, I think rugby, you can watch it and it's still, there is a degree of substance to it and similarity to normal rugby. It's not a million miles off of male rugby.
No, I think the only thing you notice it really on is the last tackle kicks, but then that almost, does that create more innovation and bring you more of a short on the grounded kicking game? You know, you can tactically tweak that to do something different and play around and make it a strength of the women's game.
No, definitely. I think
the bigger problem is only having 4 teams, basically, and the rest of them being absolute fodder matches. But because you look at what's shown on telly, it's always Leeds, Wigan, Saints, Valkyrie.
Yeah.
If you only watch WSL when it's on Sky, well, what is it? Is it WSL? Yeah, Women's Super League. You would probably not think there were more than 4 teams in it. Because I have not seen Warrington, Featherstone, Barrow, or Huddersfield, I think. That says it all, doesn't it? I don't even know who the 8th team is.
You don't even know yourself there.
Or Huddersfield on telly once.
No, I think I agree with you. Whenever I see it on, it is them big teams, like you were saying. But it's definitely closer to the men's product than football is.
100%.
But it still doesn't do it as well as, like, I think cricket is the perfect example. Cricket, the similarity between them, obviously they don't hit it as far.
But they have a reduced boundary to compensate, don't they?
And they work the double headers so well as well. Like, you know, I'm a big 100 guy, as people who listen to pod do, when that runner was speaking about it. Like, when they do the double headers, they're like,
it's too family friendly. Stop appeasing the children.
People do go in early though to watch it, the women, and women they do that better than any sport does, for me anyway.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think why that is. And the only thing I could possibly think of is to make it stupidly expensive to just go to one of the games.
Well, no, but I don't.
Basically, it's force you by bank account to go watch both to make you feel like you got your money's worth. It's like 35 quid half at the time. It's ridiculous.
But even like, I feel like even on telly, like I'd be more likely to watch England women's cricket rather than England women's football, I think. And I'm a big football guy as well. Like, so
I feel like I'd be the opposite only because we actually win in football. And after watching Southgate for years and getting chronic depression from his dreadful game, it's nice to watch an England team. That's what I mean. It's nice to watch an England team that can actually be not tactically inept and win a football match.
Yeah, that's fair. But yeah, I know what you mean about the women's game. We'll have to just see what happens this season. I think it'll be a big.
I hope it's not a decline.
Yeah, big year for it to see what happens, I guess.
But I do fear it though.
Maybe Leeds are just making way for some big overseas signings.
As long as it in. I don't know. I'm going to make a Sonny Bill Williams joke. I can't think what the female equivalent name to Sonny would be.
Maybe Tyson Frizzell's gone next level and he's gone trans. And that's
trans and Frizzell, is that what we're saying? I don't think it quite works the same as with passports. I don't think you can just randomly find a new one day. And do not open the issue of blooming transgender in sport. I'm not having that on the pod because then we will actually just end up offending somebody. It's the running joke of who's closest to getting cancelled out of the pods, and I don't want us going into pole position because of that discussion.
No, we'll park that one, I think. But
promotion relegation. There we go. Swiftly move on. Worst segue we've ever done.
Yeah. So, yeah, basically, no one's got a fucking clue what's going to happen.
And if you also want to see promotion away from just rugby league in general, then feel free to promote the channel, because when we get to 1,000 subscribers, we will be giving away a rugby shirt, and that is seamless and not totally what I meant to do a quarter of an hour ago at the start of this video.
Yeah, I mean, if the minute
if you like that, that's what you watch this pod for, the silky smooth transitions.
I'm sorry to tell you though, mate, if anyone's listened past the Transon, I can't even say it, Transon Frizzell.
Transon Frizzell to transitions. You see, we're transing it up all over the shop tonight.
But anyone who's made it past that, he's probably already subscribed now.
Oh, we've probably just got about 1,500 subscribers. They're probably not the sort of people we want for that shirt.
No, maybe that's what we have to do, you know.
I'm not going EDL just to become popular with a certain demographic of people.
We'll channel as that's the title of this pod, right? We're channeling, we're tapping into the American politics, make rugby league great again. We'll get hats ordered in, and there you go. That's our brand going forward.
I'll tell you what, if we're doing that, then I'm going to make you do something in exchange.
Go on.
You've got to present the next pod in a Keithley shirt.
No, fuck that.
Right, we're not having hats then.
Well, we got to play for both sides, have we? We got to, Christ. We've gone trans, we've gone politics, we've gone women's sports. Bloody hell, minefield.
This is the politically correct edition, actually.
Maybe we could clickbait this title, something like "Why Donald Trump is Great for Rugby League," something like that.
Oh, for God's sake. Why? Yeah, I don't know. Like, I can't even make a Toronto comment because it's Canada.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna say it's.
So you're not really giving me a lot to work with here.
But yeah, promotion relegation. Apparently, teams are gonna be having a meeting soon to discuss what could happen this year and if the championship grand final winner has got a chance of actually going up and how that would work within the realms of the IMG grading. So again, why do we not know?
Championship and League One this year. Just take the most stupid promotion format you've ever seen and embrace it.
Yeah, I'll mention this to you before we've recorded. It's like the IMG thing. I get what they're trying to do, and I think it does work to a degree. Trying to make it like the NRL and kind of make it licensing, close it up. But they're not fully committing. Like, just close it up there now. You've got the teams, so close it up. We'll review it in 4 years, 5 years. Give teams something to build towards, or say to teams, you have to show whilst in the championship that you have got the ability off the field and on the field to then make a step up so they can expand it. But they're not doing that. They're not committing to anything.
Yeah, but the problem is half the teams in the championship are probably better run than half the teams in Super League. That's probably why.
Oh, well,
you've not got the 12 you want. That's the issue.
Maybe. Well, you'd struggle to find a team better run than like Batley, but Batley are never going to get in under IMG anyway. But in terms of our club's run,
hey, if they get Grade B and win final, they might well do.
That's what I mean. Is that going to be the thing? What, do we have to get little subgrades within it, A's and B's, where, it's a bit silly, really, because Real FC going to go down and Bradford going to go up? That's just not going to happen. So I don't see a team coming down unless Salford go to shit financially and lose that,
Which I don't even think they're necessarily financially perilled anymore.
No, I don't think they would. Or Huddersfield, Ken David fucking, I don't know, dies and leaves all his fucking money to someone who's not a Huddersfield.
We're killing people off. When did I become the normal one? That's what I want to know.
Maybe this is it now. I've got the plan sorted. This is how we get Bradford back in Super League. We coerce Ken David to put in his will that if he dies to disband Huddersfield Giants, and then we just pop him off.
I thought you were going to say just give it to you, and then you'll just liquidate the asset.
Oh, that could work actually. Yeah, that
Come on, at least get manipulative about it. Like, who wants a
Yeah,
nice new shiny ground in Fartown?
Yeah, or maybe
once, going twice.
Leave
Sold.
It. Oh shit, that could work, man. Leave his will to Nigel Wood. Oh.
Well, that's the only reason that promotion's back on table anyway. Let's face it, he's rung up his old cronies being like, we don't get the Super League, I'm going to send Bradford bust again at this rate. So I'm going to need you to get us up there because I've spent that much. We surely can't lose, right? And anyway, so basically it'll be a close shot once Bradford get up there and the NFL bail them out for time number 66 and Callum is jingling his buckets again.
I mean, if you give Bradford a good stadium, if we didn't have Odsal, we'd probably be there anyway. And a lot of people that I see that generally on social media are saying they'd want Bradford back in.
Yeah, we want Bradford back in terms of the historic rivalries. What we don't want is to go and catch fucking cholera from the ground. Considering, look, I'm sorry, I can mention this before. The last time we were all Odsal, we watched a man get pulled out of the stadium for asking a 14-year-old to have a slurp on his lollipop. And you're telling me this is Super League right now?
Yeah, but you probably get that everywhere, man. I mean,
you don't have a fucking fist fight in the main stand over it everywhere.
No, but I've seen it happen.
Even Hull didn't do that.
No, but a fucking Hull's another story, innit, mate?
They probably did everything else under the sun, but they didn't do that.
But it's hard for me to, with the Odsal thing, it's hard. Like, I understand why people say it, but I've been going to Odsal every year for like my whole life, so I struggle to see it as the shockingly bad thing. That I agree, it is a bit of a shambles, but
it's terrible.
Yeah, but I don't have, and you probably now don't have the shock. Like when people see a picture of it on social media, they just go off. But I'm like, I see that every week. Why is it news to people?
No, it's like antibiotics. You become resistant after a while.
Oh yeah. I'm immune to it, mate. I've caught everything I can catch from that place.
I don't quite know.
Mainly fucking depression, mate. I'll have you know with some of them fucking.
You shouldn't joke about a serious mental health condition.
I'm not. Do you know how many I've watched Bradford Bulls play in League One and lose.
You had Chris Wellen. What more do you want?
Not in League fucking One, we didn't.
That's like goat status right there.
He won't win in Super Leagues. He win Super League Grand Finals, I guess, when we win League One.
Those are the days.
But yeah, I mean, hopefully it's resolved before the start of the season.
Oh no, it's been resolved 2 weeks to end of the season, and then we're having a lawsuit over whether or not this club should actually be allowed to get relegated. And we're going to expand to 13 teams by a ruling of the courts because there's not enough that they can kick any one of them out.
I'd rather...
You can just see it now. Welcome to Rugby League, everyone.
I think I'd rather tap into what League One did last year. We hated that playoff system. But
we didn't hate it, just no one quite understood what was going on and who was playing who.
Let's say I'm not even going to use Bradford as an example because it might piss people off. Like, let's say York win the Championship Grand Final, but they don't go straight up. They then play like a promotion relegation match against lowest in Super League or something. So them teams do have to
earn it on the pitch.
Yeah, but they also have to, like, for example, last year. I mean,
well, I'd rather see 2 up, 2 down like that, though. That's and this is what I think the pushback will be on that. If you finish, you shouldn't finish, because effectively you could win 1 game a season and the other team could lose 1 game a season and you'd never change if that game was always the £1 million game.
Yeah.
But that's just ridiculous.
The thing is, though, like last season, if you'd have done that, I would argue that the top 4 teams in the Championship would have beaten Hull and London at the end of last season.
Yeah, I'm going to say, because then you've got Toulouse versus Hull effectively, what would have been... Okay, that's maybe a bit arbitrary, but whatever index you want to do, they want to do it as second in the league, grand final runners-up, whichever way you want to play it. Toulouse then would be up against Hull for a spot in Super League, which would have been an interesting game. I'd like to watch that, actually.
It depends where it was. I mean, but I think, like I said, I'm going to back that because we know there's not at the end of the season, you had York ran Wakefield really close, and Wakefield, obviously, you wouldn't even question whether they'd beat them two teams. And Bradford ran Toulouse shot, so Toulouse close, so they were close at the end of the season, and all them four teams were in great form.
And obviously, had Toulouse then gone and beaten Hull FC by a somewhat margin, you could argue that all four of them could have done that.
Yeah,
well,
I think they probably could have done.
Wakey could have probably put the second team out and beaten Hull FC where it were going some games last season.
Probably, yeah. But...
Christ. But hey, at least we rebuilt Hull, eh?
Yeah, I mean, quite funny actually. It would have been good. I'd have loved to see Bradford against Hull.
You did at the start of the season, pre-season games.
Yeah, we fucking dicked them there.
Yeah, then you got Pele and Ockenbaugh.
Yeah, but I don't even.
Interesting to see if that's helped or hindered actually in that particular game.
Yeah, no, it would have been good to see. But yeah, for me personally, I hope there is some form of promotion relegation. And I don't think, like, honestly, I'm an optimistic Bradford fan generally, but like I think we could come top two this year. We should be aiming for that. But we could go unbeaten all season and we'd still not win grand final because it just look at how many times has that happened to Fev? Like, it's actually crazy how many times they've come top at league and not won the grand final. Like,
I mean, you can guarantee they're the ones pushing for this top of league goes straight up.
Yeah, but they're not.
I think they're probably the furthest away they've been in well over a decade from finishing top.
Yeah, I mean, 2 seasons ago they absolutely went for it, didn't they? And then London fucking did them over in final. So.
And then they went and came up against the Leeds team that's probably the best team to ever play in the second tier.
Yeah, that Leeds team is the best team to ever play in that tier. That I think maybe if you go back 10 years, that Leeds team and Bradford team back then that battled were good, but they were full-time teams. Like in the modern last 5-6 years, and that includes Toronto as well.
And that includes Wakefield that have just been and gone and lost one game all season.
You got to think that Leeds team, people don't realise, like, you had for a start, they had Nene McDonald, who they didn't even have in Super League. So
they had Ipape.
They had Ipape, they had Amon, they had Asiata, they had fucking Stone, who ended up at Salford. They're fucking players, mate. Like, they were a good team.
Oh, definitely.
They had Charnley as well, but people don't. Charnley played in Championship.
Which, when you look at like that Wakey team, who's going on to win silverware and back to the NRL and all sorts of in that team? None of them.
Well, Thornley's already just signed for Oldham, so he's not even staying in. Going up with them.
Yeah, but let's be honest, Lee will have had some that they binned off as well.
Oh no, yeah, don't get me wrong, they will have done, yeah. But I mean, that Wakey team, there's some players that have come in and it looks a decent team, but
yeah, but you're not going to tell me that suddenly, oh yeah, what Miles Lawford is just Lachlan Lamb with a British passport? No chance.
Oh no, well I mean they've signed Truman and Russell, and I'm pretty sure they'll have Lino on books as well potentially.
Yeah.
So that's going to be their halfback sort of situation. But I think it's they've got a decent team.
They've got a good team. It's certainly not a patch on the league one. And I know that will probably upset some Wakefield fans that were claiming they had the best team in the Championship, but no, not ever.
No, because...
probably top 5, definitely.
They're probably the second recently, definitely.
Oh, recent years, 100%.
But, I mean, next season they'll go down to third because obviously we've got Bradford Super Team next year. So,
well, this also impacts like who's coaching it.
Yeah, well,
I can't wait for 5 drives and a kick all season. Let's go.
Well, obviously Harry messaged us early with his in the know shit that's never right. Are we taking piss with that, or is that actually going to happen? Because I haven't seen it anywhere.
You really think I know the answer to that?
So, according to Harry...
all I've had all day is my car's blown up. I'm like, all right. What's happened to it? It's blown up. I'm like, helpful. Cheers, pal.
Yeah, Harry, a friend of the podcast who hasn't featured since probably predictions last year or something like that.
I'm going to say, if it weren't for that, I wouldn't even know if we were alive, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah. He basically said that apparently Bradford are bringing in Leon Price as attacking coach and Stuart Fielding as strength and conditioning coach. So we are proper going.
You're getting Jamie as your tin hat weatherman.
Maybe, yeah. Let's bring back that whole, that whole era of Bradford then, yeah. Like,
if you can take bloody Robbie Hunter Paul off at pitch for when they do it warming up for Challenge Cup, I'll love you forever.
Yeah, get him doing that. But you know what problem with that if we went back
Get him off the blooming pitch when they're trying to prepare for the match. Like, piss off to a commentary box like everyone else does. It's not even
We'd have to get rid of Bulgirl,
somewhere else.
Yeah, because he's good, isn't he? He talks sense and stuff. Like, he talks.
Oh, he's perfectly fine. Just don't have him on the fucking pitch. I'd rather him just stand in the car park at this point.
Interviewing fans, there you go.
Better than that.
Probably is better than speaking to.
You can't do that though, because you can't bet who's going to rock up on BBC, and especially we've seen state of some Super League fans over years.
Oh well, yeah.
It's like when Sky always pans to some I'll use this example: Saints or Wigan have just conceded, and out comes woman with like 4 teeth giving it big uns at camera, and it's just like, for God's sake, what an advert for our sport.
Yeah, well, it's like the same way. It's like you go to when like Hull Derby and it's like fucking Job Centre Royal Rumble, in it with them out. Like,
never mind. And what are all handouts? Well, Bradford, it's handouts for the club. I don't know what handouts we have at Leeds. Blooming golden gown tickets. It's top up your chromosomes at all.
Yeah. Oh dear. I mean,
Christ. God. Don't ever change, all.
What's good anyway? So I've got a prediction based on what's happening in the world of sport at the minute with the Premier League referees. How long until there's a leaked video of Kendall saying that like Rowan Smith's a cunt or something like that?
If there is, I'm probably going to buy him a beer.
Christ, something like that'll happen, I'm sure. But yeah,
I'm waiting for the deep fake of like, I don't know, the leaked Noble and Robbie Hunter Paul tape to come out.
Yeah.
For legal purposes, this will be AI generated.
Yeah.
Just to cover off any impending lawsuits.
Yeah, get Bull Girl involved as well,
What, Deck Pattern?
Yeah, 2 bulls, 1 Bull Girl.
Oh, God. A Bull Boy and Bull Girl even of age?
Undeterred.
What is this pod coming to?
Yeah, this is...
Callum, please stop sexualising mascots. If you're going to do that, then you've got to go for Hull FC's Watty when the plumber comes over. Because that one is more the scene you can play out.
Yeah, I don't think you can sexualise that one.
Precisely, so you're very safe saying that. Is that where we're ending this pod?
We might have to. It's going to have to be a short one, I think, at this point. I mean, I honestly like. I'm
thinking
now.
And mascot orgies is where we're ending this.
I don't actually know what we're
touched on
about.
Transsexuals, women's sport, Donald Trump, and everything else other than rugby.
I mean, we've got trans mascots. Let's get yes.
We have indeed, yes. That did win our Rugby League Inclusivity Award last year. Did Bradford's transgender mascot?
Do we have a? Well, when do you reckon we're going to do the awards? Do we need to give a?
I don't know. I need some more inspiration for some amusing names.
Well, we got the inclusive. I'm intrigued to see who's going to win the Inclusivity Award.
I've not decided that one yet.
I'm trying to think of some potential nominations.
We also need to award the Kate and Jay McCann Award for Absentee of the Year.
Christ, who's that going to be?
I don't know, because Nene ain't solid off home this year, so he's not going to retain his award.
I can't believe you give him that, actually. Then he didn't play.
Well, he did. He feels he come back where he was supposed to.
Oh, no, if that is true. But yeah, right. Should we end it there, then? I mean, if you've listened all the way through this, like, let us know in comments.
Yeah, well done, by the way.
It's fair play to you,
because this has just been a load of shit.
I can't even think of what I'm going to have to title this pod, because I don't actually know what we've spoken about.
Leaks Bradford Bulls mascot orgy, something stupid. Christ.
Yep. And
on that note.
Yeah. We're
getting cancelled.
Yep.
See you next week if we're still here.
Yeah, goodbye.